Hello there, guys, and welcome back to Valhaven. So we're now on episode 14, guys, and we are really progressing through this series. I hope you're thinking it's all going very well. I personally am very happy with where we are with this city. So quick recap on where we were last time out. So we built our sort of small university area over here. So we introduced our first university campus. I've got some suggestions on what we're going to name this, so we'll do that later on. But yeah, I think we're all very happy. So this is now servicing the city of Valhaven very nicely as sort of a day one campus area. We will expand our campuses as we go through the series, but for now, this is going to be nice and it's going to keep us ticking over. So yeah, that was kind of a last time out. So what do we want to do today, guys? So today I want to come back to Shap Bay, and I want to finish off this area because we've kind of done light touches here and there, and you'll see already there's some sort of big spaces of land here, there and everywhere that haven't really been populated yet. So we're going to get this finished off today, hopefully. Going to probably be a few time lapses in this episode just to make sure that we're keeping things running nice and smoothly. But yeah, this is the plan. So my thinking here is I don't want to go too much more residential. I might add a few more homes over here. I want to add a couple more or a few more historical buildings over into this area, but predominantly I want to concentrate on this island and have another nature reserve. I know what you're all thinking. Sneaky, you're going mental with the nature reserves. I'm well aware I'm now going to have 3 nature reserves in the city, but I really like them, and it just feels perfect for this area. I don't want anything too bulky, just a small nature reserve that people can come to visit and enjoy. And we're also maybe going to dabble with some of the new hotels as well in this area. So exciting stuff coming up, guys. Cool. So that is enough from me for this second. Let's jump in and play the game, shall we? Okay, cool. So first plan of action is going to be our historical town. So I want to have a look at just introducing a few more assets up on this ridge here. Because when I look at this from above, I think it does look quite bare, particularly in this area. I don't want to fill this whole space, to be honest. I do want it to be quite sparse. I like the trees in the area, but I do just want to have maybe a few more and another little road connection in here just to ease the pressure on this road that's coming in and this road going out. So I think we're going to use this gap to bring a road through and up. So let's just have a quick look at our terrain tool, shall we? So I think we've got quite a nice space here. So what I want to do is just have a small slope coming up into here where we can have a little road coming down. It's going to suit us very nicely, and then this looks quite flat anyway, so I think we're going to be quite happy. In fact, I might just drop this down a few nudges just so we've got a bit of separation from the road height. So I want to push this right up against the road, and that will do me for now. And I don't want this to come any further than, say, here. And then we can expand our rock palette over in this area. But let's push this right up against the road here and just see how we look. That's going to be good. And then reintroduce our slope over here just to make sure we've got all the right heights. Perfect. And then let's come into our 2-lane roads and our 2-lane road with trees. And then I want to come off of our snappings. Our road guideline, sorry. Or do I want to use the road guideline? Yeah, I will use the road guideline actually, just to mirror what we did down here. And then come into our freeform tool and try to find the guideline which is there. Perfect. And then bring that across. And looking at this, actually, we could maybe have another little connection coming through here as well. So we have some nice sort of sweeping roads. I think that's going to look quite nice. Cool. So now we just need to hook this in, and I don't want to get too close to this node, so I don't think we're going to go much further than this. Let's find an appropriate node that I think is going to look quite good for me. Yeah, I'm going to be quite happy with that. And then let's bring our connector roads down into the road below. That is going to be perfect. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. And then I just want to connect this one in again, just to have a couple of connections all the way through. We did delete our rock, but we'll come back to that in our time lapse later. I'm just going to sort out that slope. Actually, I'm not too happy with the way that has sloped down, so let's come back in here, introduce, let's do a nice sweeping slope. Very nice. And then we should now be able to hook you in. Yeah, that's better. So now people have got a few sort of ins and outs of this area. Yeah, I think this just kind of this helps the area completely. We'll reintroduce our rock palette, etc., later, just to detail it up. So let's have a look then at some more historical assets. So if we come into here and then we go into our, if I can remember where it is, our seaside resorts. Now, obviously, they're unique buildings, so we can't use the same one twice. So it kind of helps us in figuring out what we want to use here. So I'm not going to be too picky with what I'm placing in over here. Maybe a nice big asset, sort of as you come up this slope, might be nice. So yeah, that's quite nice now, sitting sort of atop the hill here. I actually think that's a really nice vibe looking at it now. Yeah, really cool. Enjoying that. So, oh, I'm not a big fan of the angle. So see if we can just straighten you up a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be fine. That's going to suit me nicely. And then we just want a couple of smaller assets just sitting around it because I want that to be kind of a feature. So maybe just a couple of these small buildings. Again, not too close to each other, quite sporadic. Yeah, and maybe a couple of these really small ones as you enter through here. And I think, guys, that is going to be quite nice. So we've now got a huge abundance of these historical buildings. Now, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if it's the right thing to do to place them all together so tightly. I imagine this area is going to get quite busy. They do have the tram access now. In the future, there will be a metro that comes through here. I'm also thinking about ferries into this area. So hopefully we can alleviate any pressure that does come through tourism. But I don't think it's going to be too bad. So I think we're going to be quite happy with that. So we'll come back to this and detail it up later on in the episode. But for now, that is going to do us. So let's just give these guys a little bit of water and we'll move away from our sort of straight line water pipes for now, just to make sure that they've got some water in there. Make sure that goes away. Cool. Perfect. So let's have a look at finishing off the little housing area over here in Shap Bay. And as I say, I'm really in two minds about this one because I don't want to go too far with it. But one thing that I was thinking about off camera is I want to bring another connection into this road because if you're a resident of Shap Bay, you've only really got this one to go in and out. You don't really want to have to drive through all the tourism traffic and back out this side. So I want to introduce another little road that comes through here. We will eventually also have a road that comes into sort of Kenwick and the new university area. We might even do that today, to be perfectly honest with you, just tidy this up a little bit. But for now, I just want to introduce another road. But this should also allow us to highlight where we want so just a few additional homes to go in the area. Like I say, I don't want it to be too drastic, just something light. So I think if we can grab, in fact, that's probably going to be too close to that node. So maybe we'll come in and have another one coming in sort of there. Might be quite nice. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. So let's just have a little look then at bringing this road in. So yeah, as a road design, I mean, it's very basic, right? But you've got these kind of sort of smaller areas where we've got these nice little curves, and we'll have a few more homes sort of sitting up on this hill. I'm not sure if they'll be too close to this these wind turbines. I think they probably will be, but you know, if they are, we're going to move the wind turbines at some point anyway. They were very temporary, just to make sure we had power in this area. So yeah, let's just see how it goes, and then we can go from there. So I just want to draw in a few more homes here. So again, as we were previously, I want to leave a bit of a gap between some of the homes, just to make sure that people have got separation in their gardens. It's going to be nice. Maybe a small one in here. And that's literally it. That's where I want to go for now. So we might even expand this again later, depending on our sort of residential demand, etc. But for now, I think that's going to do a good job. Cool. So next up is the pièce de résistance of this area, where we're going to bring in our nature reserve. So it's going to look really cool, hopefully, once we have this in. So you have the nature reserve sort of sitting on this hilltop, on this island, sorry. And then you're going to be able to overlook the bay with all the historical buildings. You're also going to get a view of sort of the midtown sort of rising residential buildings that we have over here. Got a nice view of the university. If you're a fan of highways or motorways, you've got a nice view of that as well. So yeah, good views of the city all around from this area. So that's going to be the next job. So what I'm going to do, guys, is jump into a quick time lapse because I'm going to have to do some sort of networking here with our roads. Because what I want to have happen is I want a bridge to come across and through into this island. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to break quite a lot of this road here and this tram network. So it's probably going to take me a few minutes, and rather than me faffing around on screen, I thought I'd just time lapse it. So yeah, I'll be back in a tick. Okay, guys, welcome back. So that was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but I think we've got there eventually. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this. But anyway, so what I did is I moved. Oh, I've absolutely flooded the area. That's fine. That'll go. That'll go. Ignore. I basically moved the tram line all the way around. So we've now got this big sweeping curve as the tram comes into this part of the city. I also created a small little off-ramp here for our road that is going to come into our new park area. So people have got easy access to the nature reserve, but as you can see from the people walking, they can also walk over there should they wish. And I've used the two-lane European old school sort of stone bridge look again, sort of again to keep the theme of what we did over here with the 4-lane road. But it just looks a bit more historical, so you kind of get the view that this was here first, so people built a bridge to get over to this little island to maybe do some fishing, etc, etc. And then the rest of the area built up around it in terms of the roads. But they kept this in because it just looked lovely. So yeah, added this in, but I did have to sort of improvise in this little middle section. I didn't know this, but you can actually build the stone bridges across roads, and the pillars literally just go across the roads or through the road. So if you wanted to do that and have all your cars and trams, etc., going through the pillars, then that's absolutely fine. But I didn't like the look of it, so I just improvised by adding a standard piece of road through here. And I don't actually think it looks that bad. I think once we decorate this up a little bit, it's going to look okay. So yeah, it's pretty good. And then this is just going to be a small nature reserve, but I created this sort of turnaround point in here. So we're going to have the entranceway here. And then people can come in, park, and turn around and exit should they wish to. So yeah, let's dive in to doing some build over here then, shall we? I'm not too concerned about the electricity over here at the moment. So let's quickly draw in a park zone. So if we just quickly paint that park area in. Lovely stuff. And then we want to place down our main building as always. Now we should know exactly where this is now because we are aficionados in building nature reserves. So this is just going to be a small nature reserve. So we're going to have a small main gate over here, or do we just go with the normal one? Yeah, I think we just go with the normal one. I think it's got quite a nice look. So we're going to go with that. And then what we want to do is grab a nature reserve path, and I want the lighted one as we go down. And I want to have a small sort of camping area over in this area. So let's grab our paths and we should be able to get nice and tight into here. Perfect. And then one nice big sweeping curve if we can get one. Lovely stuff. So again, this is a nature reserve path, so we don't need to be too particular, but I do want it to look relatively nice. And then we're going to come in like that, and then have a little section coming in over there. Let's actually get rid of lights down on this piece. So it's going to be lights all the way down until you get into this area. And then from here, we'll just have a couple of splits, and then we can have some assets sitting in this spot. Cool. So let's throw some in, shall we? So what have we got? I don't want anything too big, so the camping sites, etc., are just going to be far too large for this area. So maybe a lean-to shelter might be quite nice. We are actually quite close to that rock, and I don't want to lose that rock. So let's come back in and just move this path a little bit more, just to give us a bit more space. If we come off all our snappings as well, that should help us. That might be okay. Maybe we'll have our tents, etc., sitting over here. So just give ourselves a bit more space over in this corner. Perfect. Cool. So what were we looking at? We wanted this lean-to. So I think we have this sort of sitting over here. If I can get the snapping right. That should be perfect. Yeah, very nice. Just sitting underneath the hill. Yeah, I think that's good. A nice place, a sort of central area where people can come and sit, chill. Yeah, play their guitars, whatever they want to do. Cool. So let's have a look what else we've got. So we want to get some tents in, and I think some tents in and around this rock area are going to look really good. So let's get you guys in over here. So again, just sort of sporadic placement. We don't want anything too fancy. Let's just get a few smaller ones dotted in as well. Try and get a nice angle on that. Yep, so a nice little camping area down here where folks can come and stay, chill for a weekend or however long you stay at these camping sites. I'm not really sure, to be perfectly honest. We need a campfire site, might be quite nice. Maybe if we can sneak this over here on this corner. Yep, so end of the road, nice little campfire site, and then we can introduce maybe a lookout tower might be okay. No, it's going to be a bit too imposing, I think, on this area. Maybe on this side, we'll have a little lookout area, and this can double as like a, I know people might want to go swimming here. I'm not sure if this is somewhere we'd want to go swimming. I think it might be. Oh, electricity issues. We'll fix that in a moment. But maybe in the past, this was like a lookout area to watch people sort of in the bay, making sure that everyone's being safe, but also looking out over the camp, just to make sure that the area is safe and everyone's happy. Cool. So let's quickly fix that electricity issue because that is going to absolutely cripple our city. So am I going to be able to bring this in? I don't think I am. We have to rethink our electricity over here, which is fine. Again, we'll probably off camera, what I'll do is I'll go in at some point and just reimagine all of our electricity supply, because I'm not happy with all these pillars here, there and everywhere, but we will fix that. It won't be there for long. Cool. So I'm going to keep the game paused just for a second while we do this. So at the moment, I think that's going to be good. I don't want too much in here. Maybe just one or two more camping areas, perhaps a couple of large ones around this sort of central communal area that we've got over here. Might be quite nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then eventually, I don't know, maybe once we unlock some more stuff, we can put some more in here. So The next thing I want to do is have our first look on the channel at some of the hotel and retreat action. So I've not actually looked at this stuff at all, but from what I understand, you have to sort of manage the hotel in the sense that they have to be in specific areas. So um, for the rental cabin, for instance, you've got the small camera there with which is the yellow bar, and the green bar, which is it's like the landscape that it's in, I believe. So you have to make sure they're in certain areas to make sure they're hitting certain goals to achieve their popularity ratings, etc. I mean, we'll find out more once we place them, but that's the gist that I've got anyway. So what I'm thinking is I want to have a couple in here. So a couple of little log cabins that overlook the historical bay, I think will be really nice. And we can kind of have these guys coming off down into here so they can use the one-way system and then drive down into this area. So let's grab a small road and just see how that looks, because I mean, as I say, I've not played with this at all. So I just want to fiddle around with it a little bit and just see what it looks like. So let's bring this road in, and again we want to use that the natural curve of the hill, and I think that's quite nice. Yeah, so again you've got a couple of little dips there again, which I think is quite a nice little look for the area. Let's just give ourselves a little bit more space. I don't know if we're actually going to need it, but why not? And then come back into our hotels, and then we could maybe place, I don't really want him on the hill, or do I? Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. And then we can just extend this roadway out a little bit more. So yeah, I want to see if I can now place another log cabin in here and how that is going to look. And I think that's actually worked out really nice, having that curve in there. Yeah, and they're slightly atop hills as well, which is really cool. But yeah, you kind of get the feeling, right? So you can either come to this area and do a bit of camping. So we've got a nice little campsite area in here. Or you can come in, just stay in one of our 2 log cabins, you know. Maybe you've got a bit more money to spend. You feel like you want to be a bit frivolous in this tough financial climate. But yeah, these are really cool. So a nice little family holiday in a log cabin overlooking a nice historical seaside town. I think that's got quite nice vibes. I'd be quite happy to stay there, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, I think we're going to be happy with that. So let's hit play and just make sure our electricity issues have gone, which they have. Oh no, because I was in free look mode. Okay, so we now just need to make sure these guys have got electricity. So again, this is a bit frustrating because I'm going to have to bring this across the water, which I don't really want to do, but again, it will be temporary. Off camera, I will make sure that I go back in and amend this so that it looks a bit better. So that should hook up the electricity now. It's not going to reach the top, is it? Of course it's not. That would be too easy, city skylines. Okay, so everyone's got electricity. It looks horrendous, but you know, everyone's going to be happy for a short period. So look, I think this is really good. People are coming in, they're starting to visit this area. Everyone's going to be quite happy. Yeah, I think this is nice. So the last thing I want to do is actually think about possibly bringing in an old school ferry depot, you know, just so that we've got a bit more transport into the area. And what I might do is just extend this out a little bit. So look, we're going to do it and see what it looks like, and if it looks horrendous we can just delete it, but I think it might look okay. So yeah, I'm going to time lapse this bit just so I can get some terraforming done, bring in the ferry depot. So I'll be back in a tick. Okay, guys, welcome back. So we've introduced our ferry depot. To be honest, I'm not convinced on what I think of this at the moment, so I'm just going to let it settle in my head for a little while. We might change it in the future, but while the ferries are coming through, let's quickly talk about what we did. So we just introduced another little road here coming down, and then a little turnaround point in here by the ferries. We may have some shops or something in here a bit later, just to add an additional element to this area. It really annoys me about this game that you can't upgrade this piece of road, but anyway, it is what it is. We can decorate this up in our detailing time lapse anyway, and it's going to look good. We've gone for these sort of like old school looking sort of riverboat ferries, just because look, it's an older sort of area, so I wanted to kind of highlight that. We placed the second depot in here for now. It's not a depot, is it? Ferry stop. Eventually what we'll do is we'll have some additional roads coming in, so it just gives some more access to the university area over here. So what we're doing was we're just going to have this ferry coming through sort of across Havelka. So if you're in the town of Havelka, you've got nice views of the ferries going back and forth, which is quite nice. And yeah, the main purpose of this is just to give people additional access into this area. So what I expect to see is the people of Kenwick can now jump on here, come across, rather than having to drive all the way through, come through the historical town. They can get off here, have a little walk, have a little fish and chips or something in the local town, and then go about the business. So yeah, pretty good. And you might have noticed during the time lapse, I just placed the depot area over here. Again, this is something that really annoys me about City Skylines, that you kind of have to have this thing in. Once we get to sort of like a downtown port area, I can incorporate that in here. But for now, it just is so unnecessary. But yeah, anyway, we've just placed it over there temporarily. It's out of the way. It's not going to bother people. So yeah, that's going to be quite good. So yeah, that is it. So I think we're going to be quite happy now that we've got the ferries in. People are moving back and forth and able to visit our new area. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is just jump into a quick detailing time lapse. I've got a fair bit to do, so this might take me a bit longer than usual. But yeah, bear with me. We will see you very, very shortly. Okay guys, welcome back. So we did some little detailing here, there and everywhere. So let's have a quick sort of run through. So we reintroduced our rock palette into this area. So we've got some nice huge rocks now, which I think is quite cool, really accents the area. I know these were here previously, but we've now got these sort of running throughout. So we've got this little additional bit around by the bridge as well, which is quite nice now. I think it's quite a cool vibe. Ignore the power pylons, they are horrendous. Yeah, so we've got some additional sort of rocks here, there and everywhere in this area. Same over here. So we went back into Chat Bay and reintroduced ones that we had to delete to get the road network changed. So they're back in. We've added some around our key as well. I might have to download Anarchy just to bring those keys right up to the rocks, because it's really bugging me that I've got a gap and I can't get rid of it. I sincerely apologize for any vanilla players, true vanilla players out there, but I might just have to do it for my own OCD. But let's see. Same over this side. So we've got our rocks, but our key doesn't quite come all the way up, so it looks a bit out of place at the moment. But anyway, we added a few rocks over here as well. Again, this is all just to kind of accent the area. So again, if you're looking over in Chat Bay from these homes, you've got this nice sort of view now rather than just looking at a hill. So yeah, that was what we did over there. We added some fencing sort of here, there and everywhere into our nature reserve area. So as we did previously in other areas, we just wanted to make sure people can't get to places they shouldn't be able to go. So we've backed this off here. This is a road, so people shouldn't really be walking down here anyway, but I might introduce a fence here as well. But yeah, so just and then nice fence sort of running parallel with the path all the way down into our nature reserve area that sits down here. So yeah, I think people are enjoying this area. I think this is it's obviously a popular place already. So yeah, again, drop me a comment down below of what you want to see this named. Yeah, I will go with the best suggestion that we get down in the comments. Cool. So that is it for today. That does actually remind me very quickly. We had a comment previously on what to name our new university area over here. Now, as I say, this is a very temporary university area, so it's not like a huge campus, it's not a huge institution, so we just want it to be something light, but we did have a suggestion of the Valhaven Contemporary University. So look, it's not fancy, it's not gonna change the world in terms of a name, but you know, it does exactly what it says on the tin. So thank you very much to Eric V for that suggestion. And yeah, we will, if I could spell contemporary, I think that's right. Contemporary, yeah, that looks fine. So yeah, the Valhaven Contemporary University, very small uni campus, but yeah, everyone's happy with this one. So that is looking good. So that is it for today then, guys. I think we've done quite a lot today. There's been a lot of additions added in. I hope that you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're enjoying the new look Shap Bay. I personally am very happy with this. We've got our historical area. We've got our nature reserve park. We've got some nice bridge action going on. We've got our trams. We've got some residential buildings. Yeah, everything is looking good over here. So I will catch you all on the next one, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. Have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, night, no matter where you are in the world. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, like the video, drop some comments on what you want to see. Yeah, thank you all very much. Have a good one. Catch you on the next one.